Welcome to the Did You Know Quilting Show. I'm Christina Whitney, and today's question is, did you know that it is often easier and quicker to rotate your quilt to do your side borders? I am working on this project and having lots of fun, but I did have some side borders and I didn't want to try to chunk them because a lot of times I don't get the best results doing that. So I opted to do the top borders, the center of the quilt, and the bottom borders. Now I'm going to remove the quilt from the frame and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, pin it back on, and then I will do the side borders going horizontally. So let's take a look at that process. Okay, so you notice I just cut that off. That's because I had some extra backing that I wanted to be able to use for another project. Usually I would just go ahead and unroll and unpin this from the leader, but I'm actually going to go ahead and unload it right now. Okay, I just unpinned this, and I do want to clarify that when I first loaded it, I loaded it sideways. So you can see like the center panel was going sideways rather than up and down. So just wanted to make sure that that was clear. So when I rotate it, you'll understand the directioning. Okay, so now I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees. So the pieces that were on the sides are now going to be across the top and the bottom. I do have some extra batting that's kind of hanging off, so I am going to trim that off just so it's not in my way. You don't have to do that, but I don't want to really be dealing with that. And then I'm just going to load this the same way that I would my regular top. I'm just going to focus on the backing where I should have, or I will have my centers marked. I actually think I went ahead and marked it. Maybe not. Okay, so I folded it in half, marked my center. I'm going to do that on the bottom as well. And I'm just working with the backing fabric. If you wanted to find the center of the quilt top and work that way, you could do that as well. Okay, I'm going to trim the batting on this side, and then I'll be ready to start loading it. Okay. One other thing I do want to point out is that I did not have a whole lot of extra fabric at the sides when I was first stitching. So I don't have a lot of extra fabric. So I've only got like an inch or two on either side that I'm pinning. Now that might be an issue on a regular quilt or one where you're doing the border going all the way to the edge. I knew ahead of time that my border was going to be inset about an inch. So I know that I've got enough room to work with it, but be careful that you don't skimp on your backing. Make sure that you leave that extra like 4 inches or so on all 4 sides, which makes it easy for your clamping as well as when you rotate so that you can pin it back on. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pin to the take-up leader. it is all reloaded and ready for me to do this border. I'll advance, do the second border, advance even further, do the bottom 2 borders. One other thing that I want to mention is that if you do have a large border that you're leaving unstitched going down the sides on the first pass, sometimes it's beneficial to go ahead and do like some really wide basting. I usually do about a 1-inch basting stitch down those sections just to make sure you're keeping everything lined up nicely. And I always do my basting down the sides on the very edge so that when I turn it, it's already stitched down and nice and straight. So the biggest complaint that I get from people is that it takes too much time to rotate the quilt. For me, I have found it's actually quicker and I get much better results by turning it, because rather than trying to do all of the math and figure out one section at a time in my throat space going down those sides, I now have one solid pass that I can put that design in, skew it in, stitch it out. I don't have any places I'm trying to line things up other than matching if I had like a corner or something that I'd already stitched. So thank you for joining me today for the Did You Know Quilting Show. I hope you take a chance and try flipping your quilt or rotating your quilt and seeing how you like it. If you don't, that's fine too. But anyway, I hope you have a great week quilting.